So today I'm going to share with you 8 tips of bulk buying, how to do it. I'm going to share with you real life examples of experiences that I've had when I've been bulk buying, and at the end of the video I'm going to run through in more detail, giving you some of the numbers as well, the Geox shoe haul I bought, so you can understand the kind of margins I'm looking to achieve and the progress of where I'm at currently. So without further ado, here's my tips. Tip number 1, network. Get out there, tell everybody what you do. You buy product, you sell product. Everybody needs to know, because these bulk buy deals are not just going to come to you. Nobody's just going to come to you out of the blue and go, oh, by the way, did you want to buy 1,000 of these products? It's not going to happen. You need to get out there, you need to tell people what you do. So if you don't already, get some business cards printed. Get some business cards, get them out there, give them to as many people as you can. Put on there what it is you do, how to get hold of you, name, phone number, business name. Now if you've not set up your own limited company like I have, it doesn't matter, you can still trade under a trading name, whatever that may be, but you need to get out there. You need to go and source these deals, so go and speak to people. So the 2 big deals I bought recently, one was a big DJ lot, which is like DJ equipment, mixers, fog machines, lighting rigs, desks, you name it, DJ wise, I bought it. Now that came about to me just because I went to go and get my guitar amp fixed, and when I got my guitar amp fixed, I was talking to the chap, just sat there having a random conversation. I said, he was just like, what do you do? So I said, I told him, I buy product, I sell products, that's my business. So he said to me, there's somebody down the road who is someone who's come and done a lot of work with him. So add DJ stuff, got it repaired all the time with the guy that fixed my guitar amp. So he's put me onto him, given him his details. I've gone down the road, knocked on the door, said, hello mate, I hear that you are closing down. So he wanted to pack his business in, had enough of it, did what he needed to do, and then wanted to focus on his photography, of all things. So spoke to the chap, he said, yes I do, I've got a lot of stuff that I need to shift. So that was it. And second big deal that I got was through my old drummer from my band, got in touch with me, saw I started my own business, it was on LinkedIn, so make sure, like I said, networking, make sure it's public, make sure everybody knows what you do. So it's through LinkedIn, he saw that I'd set up my own company, buying and selling product, he'd been on my website. Now your website is your secret salesperson, and it would always help and tell people. So if I didn't have that website set up, he wouldn't have seen what I do, and he wouldn't have come to me to say, there's somebody I know. He came to me with a chap that he knew from his school. Now this guy is gone, he's done what I've done, he's smashed it, and he's set up a new business in transport. But he's still got lots of contacts, lots of links, lots of stuff coming through. So had a chat with that chap, we sat down, and he said, I have lots of Geox shoes that he was selling, trading for his own other side company, but I think basically he just didn't have the patience to go and work through it. Now, I'm not scared of hard work, I've got the patience to go and work through it because this is my bread and butter, it's no longer his bread and butter. So he said, come look at the stock. And that's where that went from there. So, networking, get your name out there. Okay, so tip number 2, make sure there is demand for the product that you're buying. So when it comes to buying lots of stuff in bulk, you need to know that whatever you're going to purchase is going to sell. Because the worst case scenario is that you can pick up thousands of pounds worth of product and it doesn't move. So you have to undercut the market, you have to shift these products cheaper than everyone else because you need to be the first person to sell them. So make sure there is a demand. Tip number 3, make sure there is enough margin in these products. So I think I probably made this mistake in the DJ deal that I bought. There was good margin in it and I have made good money off of it. But in hindsight, you need to make sure that there is enough there for you to take a reasonable amount of money out of it. Now when you work for yourself, you need to look at things to say, I'm going to have to spend X amount of time doing this. This is going to take X amount of hours worth of work, and then you work out the profit that you're going to make off of the end of it. Now you take that profit, divide it by the amount of hours it's going to take you to work through it, and then after that, you will have a number of how much profit you're going to make per hour, which is effectively your wage. So you need to look at things empirically. It's not like working for a big company. You need to make sure that every hour you invest in anything you do counts. So tip number 3, make sure there's enough money in the deal. Tip number 4, don't go too deep on any product. So if you're looking at a big bulk buy of stock, you need to know that whatever you're looking at, there isn't like 50 of one product, 50 of another product, 50 of another product. because that can be fine. That is good. You'll spend time listing it once, for example on eBay, you'll list it once and it will continue to sell. But like I said, there has to be the demand there. So if you bought 50 of a unit, you need to know that they're selling on a regular basis. It's a very high in demand product. Whereas you need to buy diverse stock is probably the safest option, because some of that stuff might look good, but actually just doesn't move. So, for example, on the DJ stuff that I bought, I don't think I had many of the same thing. I had about, you know, a couple of things like mics or leads and stuff like that there was multiples of, because they're things that do sell regularly. There's quite a high demand, people always need more leads, people always need more mics. When it comes to the big things like mixing desks or mixers or fog machines, there was lots of variation. There was lots of different versions of this product available. In which case, when I list them, it takes a lot more time to list, so once again, factoring in that time aspect, but listing each one individually, I soon come to realise that that was the safest option, because I've sold that once, don't need to worry about it. That demand might not be there to sell that 6, 7, 8 times, but to sell it once, not a problem. With the Geox shoes, there was a very broad variety of the shoes that I had. Here's a couple of the shoes now so you can have a quick look at what I purchased, but lots of variety, lots of different products. Some of it was men's, some of it was women's, some of it was kids. There was hundreds of different styles, and of those styles, I had about maximum 4 units in the same size. Now when it comes to shoes, you've got to think there's people of all different shapes and sizes out there, going to need all different types of shoe and all different types of sizes. So I made sure I didn't have too much of, say, a size 12 women's shoe, because there's not a lot of women out there that have shoes that size, whereas men, plenty of size 12. So that was it, went through, checked. And that comes on nicely to my next point, which is tip number 5. Be thorough. You need to go in and you need to understand exactly what it is you're going to buy. You need to create a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet, where you've put in, you've noted everything that is coming your way. So you need to know absolutely 100% what is going to come through that door when you order it, or into your warehouse, or into your house, or you're going to collect. You need to know exactly what it is. It needs to be tested. So if it's electronics, for example, this chap had loads, or the DJ chap, had loads and loads of stuff which was used, because he used to hire stuff out as well as sell it new. Now the used stuff, I looked at it, there was so much money in it, but I would have to go through and I'd have to test every single thing. If I was to buy something thinking it was new and it turned out it was used, so I couldn't sell it as new, the value of that just drops dramatically. So if you're buying stuff as new, you need to know that everything there is new. You need to check all the boxes, make sure they're all sealed, make sure nothing's open, make sure there's no marks, no wear. It comes in its retail packaging, so make sure that the stuff is there. So be thorough, know exactly what you're going to buy. Okay, tip number 6, get everything in writing. Now, if you're going to make a big deal, if you're going to be handing over thousands and thousands of pounds worth of money, and you're receiving stock on the other end of it, you need to know that what's there is in writing and it's recorded and it's agreed. So for let's use the Geox shoes that I bought as an example. I sent an email to the guy that said I want to buy 520 pairs of Geox shoes. I agree to buy 520 pairs of Geox shoes that are new on this date. So sending all that over, he received the email and went, actually, let me just go and check that I'm actually going to give you what we've agreed to sell, what I've agreed to sell you. So he went away, checked them, came back to me and went, actually, we've only got 490. In which case, I then renegotiated with the chap and I said, happy to pay that, but pro rata, bring the price down. I am happy to pay X amount of money for 490, for example, shoes that are new. Great. So we did the deal, shoes arrived. Now you need to get these things in writing, because when it comes to something called contract law, if you can prove that he's put out an offer, you've accepted it with exact detail, then that is legally binding. So that is a contract. So if I wanted to, if it was under a certain amount of money, I can't remember how much money it is, but you can go to small claims court to say, we agreed to this, person hasn't delivered. So small claims court would say, right, you've got it in writing, this is what you agreed to happen between the two parties, it hasn't happened, therefore this person owes you X amount of money back, or whatever the reward is. Similar, if it's a bigger deal, it couldn't be a small claims court, but the point still stands. Get it in writing. Everyone knows where they stand. You can move forward in a professional business manner. Tip number 7, check what you've received. So all that stuff comes through the door. It's a lot of product, right? You're going to receive a lot of product, but you need to know that what's there is what you agreed to get. So go through, check it, organise it, do what you need to do. Just make sure that what you've agreed to do has arrived. So for the Geox example, all the shoes then arrived, did a count, did a recount, did a third recount, took ages. But it turned out I'd only received 477. Now, I'm not saying that this chap has, you know, intentionally tried to give me less shoes, because like we've got a good business relationship now. There's going to be future deals to come from this, but I didn't receive what we'd agreed to receive. So it was a case of went through, triple checked it, pinged him an email, said, sorry buddy, we agreed to 490. I've only received 477. We're going to need to get some money back. So he came back and went, so sorry about that, didn't mean to, it's not the way I do business, I'll provide you with a refund. Then he sent that money back to me, job done. Happy days. So always check what's coming in, and this ties back to the previous point, make sure you've got it in writing. Because if that had come through, I hadn't checked it, I wouldn't have known that's money lost there because I've not got what I thought I had. And secondly, if I didn't have it in writing, because I had it in writing, I then had recourse that I could say to this chap that, you know, this hasn't been received, and it's all there on paper, it's all black and white. And if things didn't go the way they did, if we didn't have such a good business relationship together and he wasn't such an upstanding chap, then I could quite easily have been out of pocket. And this finally comes on to point number 8, track everything. So anything you do, when you list it, build a spreadsheet, understand exactly what it is that you've got. If you're going to be receiving loads and loads of stuff, yeah sure, it's going to be up on eBay so you can look at it there, but you need to know exactly what you've got. You need to know, you need to be organised. You need to say, I've got this product in this size, this shape, it weighs this much, these are the dimensions, this is its eBay item number, this is its EAN, all in one spreadsheet so you can go through and quite easily identify what's there, what's not moving, and just understand it. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So that is the be all and end all really. Be organised, get that spreadsheet together, know exactly what you're trading. So there it is guys, there's my 8 tips for bulk buying through my own experience. Now I promised you at the start of the video that I'm going to go through my example, so my example for this video is going to be the Geox bulk buy of shoes that I bought, these babies here, and I'll run you through some of the numbers, so here it is. Okay, so here is an example of the spreadsheet that I've built to track my Geox purchases. So just to give you a quick rundown of the way that I've summarised it, we've got brand here at the top, model of the shoe, the type of the shoe, so this is the actual name of the product. I'll put a colour in here because sometimes there was many of the same model, but the colours varied under the same model, so I needed to track those. Each product had its own code, so I've populated that as well. So if I need to do a price comparison across the market, across the internet, I can just pop that product code into Google to find the products. I've listed here whether it's kids, men's, women's, so that if I want to do a pivot table off the back of this, I can understand how much I've got of each and which ones I need to go after more. Then I've got a size for each product. The millimetre, which is the foot length, just in case I need to go back and cross-reference, because the kids' sizes and the men's sizes, there's overlap in the name of the size. So a kid's, you know, a kid's 7 could be a men's 7, but they've both got very different sizes on them. So all of these came on the box, so I just ended up tracking those to check which sizes were kids and which sizes were men's. And then here what I've populated is the quantity of the products, whether I photographed them. I've got a little section here for comments, so if I've got any questions or comments on the products, or stuff that I need to highlight to myself, I've got a comment section there. EAN, so I didn't start doing this originally, but then I've started popping these in the end, because it's easier to find a product if I've got an EAN, and I can type that into Google. And then secondly, once it's listed, I've got my eBay item number. So everything's there, everything's tracked, everything's ready to go. Now on here, on the second page, I've got a quick and dirty summary of the numbers. So, total outlay for all of these products was total outlay for these products was £3,595 for a total of 477 units, meaning the cost per shoe was £7.54. Now, what I've done now is I've populated in here average selling prices. So if I was to sell them all for $39.99, if I was to sell them all to $69.99, and give myself a summary of how much profit I'm intending to make. So, sales number is, if I was to sell all those units at $39.99, my revenue would be 20 grand. If I was to sell them all at $69.99, my revenue would be 33 grand. Now these are big numbers, considering I only outlaid just under 3,600. It seemed like a bit of a no-brainer right from the get-go. So it was a case of mostly just checking the products were in good condition, and then I could go and price them how I like, really. So plenty of margin in there, plenty of margin for me to play with. So here I've populated the fees, how much VAT I'm going to pay because I'm a VAT registered company, and then the revenue I'm going to make after that. Now, if I was to sell them all at, for example, $69.99, I would bring a revenue in after fees of 18,000. Sorry, I'll bring a revenue in after fees of 21,700, which would leave me a profit number of 18 grand. So excellent numbers. I'd have to sit on these products for quite a long time before I was to achieve that. So chances of me selling that, probably not going to achieve that kind of average selling price, but that would leave me a profit margin of 54%. Now I deal with profit margin rather than markup, so that's my preferred measure, because my previous retail jobs we always dealt with margin. It's quite easy to see what your sales number is. If you know what your margin figure is, you can work out your profit quite easily off of the sales number. Now if I was to sell all these at $39.99, I'd bring in a revenue after fees and VAT, with expenses, etc., of £12,398. Now that would give me a profit number of £8,803, which would give me a profit margin of 46%. So overall, very, very good numbers. It's, you know, Geox is quite a high-end brand, so selling these products for $39.99 is not unachievable. It's more kind of how fast I want to sell these through. Now, I'm probably achieving about an average sale price of about the $59.99 mark at the minute, which is very good, because I've been selling some shoes for over £100. I've sold a fair few of the kids ones through at under 20, but on average, mostly quite expensive models. Quite expensive models are going, so I say on average I'm looking at about $59.99 average selling price, giving me a profit of 15 grand, which is fantastic. But I can't wait to sell these that long, to be honest. I've got a lot of money tied up in these, so I'm probably going to end up cutting the prices down these quite low coming soon. So I'm looking, I'll be happy to make 8 grand off of that investment. So I'll be happy to sell all these through at $39.99 and make a 46% margin. So that's where it's at. What I'm going to do is I'll probably do a sales summary in later videos to let you know how I'm getting on. But that is the numbers. So overall, very, very happy with the price I paid. £7.50 for a unit, which in the grand scheme of things is not a lot of money at all. So that's my numbers. Very happy. So there it is, guys. That's my 8 tips there for how to bulk buy, some real life examples, and I'm running through some of the numbers of the latest deal that I've done. So just to recap on the 8 tips that I provided. Number 1, network. Get your name out there, get your business cards out there, let people know what you do. These deals aren't going to come to you. You need to go and find them. Tip number 2, ensure there's demand of the products that you're looking to buy. If you're looking to buy something, you don't want to buy it and then be sat on that for ages and you've had all your money invested into that, so you can't go and source new products or other things that are going to keep your business moving forward. Number 3, make sure there's margin in what you're going to buy. You need to factor in if there's going to be any returns. That needs to be part of the equation. You need to factor in how much time these things are going to take to make sure that this deal is profitable and you can earn an hourly rate that you're comfortable with. Number 4, don't go too deep on product. If you buy 50 units of one product, you need to know that that product is going to move. Whereas it's much better to buy 25 products with 2 units each, because you know it just brings your risk down, just lowers that risk. Everything we do is risk versus reward in business. So you need to bring that risk down as much as possible, minimize your risk, spread out. Spread out your products. Tip number 5, be thorough. Know exactly what it is that you're about to buy. If something says it's new, check that it's new. If something's used, make sure it still works. Whatever it is that you buy, be 100% certain that you know what's coming through that door. Tip number 6, get your agreement in writing. If your agreement isn't in writing, if the deal isn't in writing, there is no legal contract between you. There is a legal contract, but it's verbal, which is very hard to prove in a court of law. If anything just hit the fan, you need to know that it's there, it's in writing, everyone can see, this is what we agreed, and this is what's happened. Number 7, check what's coming in. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming through the door, but you need to know as it comes in, everything that you've agreed to come has come. It's very easy to say, okay, it's all here because it's so much, but you know, it's about putting the work in. You'd invest so much more time buying individual products and listing individual products. You might as well spend that time ensuring that this huge investment that you've made has come. You need to know that this investment that's coming through the door is exactly as you agreed to buy it. And final tip, tip number 8, keep track of everything. When it comes in, make it organised. Get it organised. Sort it into piles. Build a spreadsheet. Know exactly what you've got at all times and you'll progress at listing it. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. Okay, so that's my tips for today, guys. Bulk buying 101. It's how I do it. Some real life examples. I hope that what I've shared with you today has been beneficial. I hope it's provided you some tips and given you the confidence to go ahead and go and source some of these bulk buy deals yourself. If you enjoyed this video and are happy with the content I'm providing, give it a thumbs up, press the like button. If you are interested in finding out some of the more content I'm going to put forward, hit the subscribe button for my future videos and I will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.